And so it is. Greetings, my beloved family. I am that I am, Ekara, sovereign servant of free energy. And with free energy, of course, we mean the universal love that is present within all of us, the universal joy that we live by every single day, and the universal freedom, paving the path everywhere we go. When I say greetings to my beloved family, I do mean this. This is a family reunion, a coming together of spirit, energy, and matter, obviously, the matter in which all of you sit. And this coming together is something that has been foretold, not planned for, but foretold, put within the potential of all that is. As always, when things like this finally materialize, there is a great joy, there is a great bliss, support from every single angle that you can imagine. And of course, in a multi-dimensional existence, there are many such angles, much more than you will find in 3D. All of you sitting here tonight, and myself, and so many others, are part of this creation, part of what you would call a manifestation that is never based on thought energy, on the energy of the mind, but it is always based on the energy of the heart. And as I'm speaking these words, I would like to let you know, as you are probably feeling, that I am not alone in carrying these words. All of you are carrying them as well. And at the same time, as these words are being spoken, I would like to invite all of you to feel the sovereign circle of support that is coming in through your very hearts. Some would call this an entourage. Others would call these master energies, angelic energies, and you know all of their names. They are your guides. They are your loved ones, past, present, and future. They are alive within your very cells. I would like to place your focus, if only for a minute, on this sovereign circle of support. For it are these beings that have worked a great deal in the last few years, ever since each and every one of you was born onto this planet Earth. Worked a great deal indeed to put you all in the right timelines, to put you all on the right paths, so that you would have the opportunity to step into the power that is now coming out of you, flowing out of you, based on the choices that you have all made. Who is then this sovereign circle of support? You would say that these are the master energies, masters such as Adamus, and such as many, many others, yes. But you are also part of this circle. You are also part of this great unification, this wholeness. And as you know, unification can only happen when the most important foundation of all, the support of Terra or Gaia, the Mother herself, is present. You cannot do anything on this plane of existence without the support of the Mother, and she lives within each and every one of you. So this sovereign circle of support is based on her energy. We are all based on her energy. She is not just the creator of this planet. She is the creator of all matter. And people oftentimes do not see this. They will look at an object, for instance, an object such as this table, and they will say it is man-made. It is created by humanity. The glass has been neatly fold it into the specific patterning it needs. It is not so. Everything you see around you, all the clothing that you are wearing, everything that you are eating, and even your bodies themselves are earth, are Gaia. So in a way you could say, my beloved family, that this is indeed Gaia coming together in all these different aspects that are sitting here across you. So take a moment before we actually go on to look into each other's eyes and to find there the strength, the power, the unity, the wholeness, and the support that is reflected back to you. This is the universe looking right at you from a different vantage point, from a different perspective. And this is indeed looking into the eyes of your very self at any given moment of time. It is difficult, of course, as you wake up every single day, as you wake up into 3D, as you are latched onto and latch on to the mind. It happens every day. Your energy will be free, it will be soaring around, it will be doing what it needs to do, and then the day will come again. The moment when you open your eyes and suddenly the grid of reality, of matter, snaps back into place, and you see yourself. You look at yourself and you say, I am this person, I am this hand, I am this leg, I am this face I am now looking at, I am myself as I'm sitting on the toilet, as I'm preparing myself to get into this day of mine, as I look into my planning, as I look into everything that I need to do. And so there you have it. This is my day. I am locked within the grid. And as you lock yourself in the grid, as you define yourself by your very body, not looking towards energy, not looking towards all the potentials that you have for that day, you allow thoughts to come in. Thoughts that are not really your own. Thoughts that are part of the mind. Oh yes, Ekara, why are you speaking of these things? We know these things, we understand these things, we have been going through these things, we have been writing about these things, we give classes about these things. Yes, you do. But you don't understand yet that the greatest class you are giving is the class you are giving yourself. And it is called your life. And as you look into the eyes of other people, then you truly see what these teachings are all about. It's just connecting. Connecting to yourself by connecting to the other. And here we have a family connection. Here we have a family reunion taking place. We could talk about many things. We could give you information about the Akene. We could tell you the latest about geometry as if there is a latest. It's all there, always within the heart. But today, as this is an energy that is coming in and being created solely for the people who are sitting here tonight, and some others who will join you at a later time, I would like to take the opportunity to say that one part of that which you call the class of life is over. And the first part of the class of life was basically the clash of life. The clash of all this energy, everything that you had to go through, all the patterning that you had set up for yourselves throughout the years that you have been on this planet. And this patterning has taken all of you, each and everybody sitting here, to a different space than you thought you would be in. I mean, look at yourselves. Look at where you are. You are in Hawaii. It's a place that you never thought you would visit at a certain point in your lives, let alone live there. Let alone spread the word of love there. Spread the work of love there. So all of you have broken through so much patterning, and it's still going on. I would like to remind you, and also the others who I am requested to say are now putting their hands on your heart, on your head, and on your belly, and on your feet. I and all the others have assisted you, guided you in sovereign service, once again, not as someone or some type of energy that is above you. We don't even consider ourselves equal in the fullest possible way of the world. We see ourselves as supporting you, as indeed in a space that is not below, not in a hierarchical way, but supporting you. You are the ones jumping into bodies every single day. You are the ones taking on the challenge of life, taking on the challenge of 3D, going through all that patterning. And as you have gone through it, I would like to remind you of the 999 portal that has just recently closed, and the period of 3 that you are entering into right now. 3 months. October nearly finished. November and December still coming, still yet to experience by all of you. And these 3 months specifically are the periods of time that you will need to let go of the last of the patterning. And as you do this for yourselves, you also do this for others around you. So yes, for some of you it will be difficult. For some of you there will be lots of thoughts coming in and not knowing what these thoughts are all about. And you will think, how can I be in this space again? I've worked on myself. I've done everything I needed to do, and there I am again. Right back at the beginning, as though nothing ever happened. You have these days. You have these moments. And then I ask you to just remember the sovereign circle of support that is not just all the masters, but that is you yourself. So instead of thinking that you are right back at the beginning, look at yourselves. Look at the things you have achieved in your life. Look at the space you are inhabiting now. I don't mean the space around you alone. I mean the space within. You are indeed taking up much more space, actual multi-dimensional space within yourself than you ever have before. For there was a time when you used to exist right up here in the head, and you were just all these synapses firing off and all these thought patterns that were happening, and you were just reacting to that. And you thought that was life. And so you were seeking things outside of yourselves. Outside. Always on the outside. And then there came a time when you started realizing that there was more space, a more real space, if you will, and that was your heart. And the journey from the head to the heart basically, finally ended at the closing of the 999 portal, September 27th, 2007. Actually, the actual closing date, October 8th, because some of the energy still needed to be put into the right direction, so to speak. Nothing to worry about. This happened the way it needed to happen. And there you have this period now of 3 months, this path that you are following. The importance of this path is to examine everything, all the patterning, everything that happened in your life prior to this moment. Because it's not about saying goodbye to something, saying goodbye to something that is old. It's not because you closed the 999 portal, that you can say goodbye to all the patterning that you have gone through. It was there for a reason. And it will always remain. It always needs to be there. It will always be there as a foundation. So what you are doing basically is cleaning up all this old patterning and releasing it again. Releasing it because, it doesn't really belong to you. It belongs to the earth. As your body belongs to the earth. As everything around you belongs to the earth. And so one last time, you are going through this event you call old energy, the past. A walk down memory lane, you could say. Let's call it a walk down patterning lane. And this now is reintegrating itself with the earth. And as this is happening, new energy, free energy, undefined energy is coming out of the earth. It came in through the great central sun, found a pathway through what you call the solar sun, right into the core crystal of Gaia itself, coming back up through the tectonic plating, through the lava, coming back out of the earth. But as things come out of the earth, you must be aware it always comes out through what I would call consciousness. And the consciousness of the earth, my dear family, is carried by that which you call humanity. At least, it is about to be carried by that which you call humanity. Before we go into the details, before we go into your connection of those sitting here tonight, let me tell you who has carried the consciousness in the past decades, eons even. It was not humanity. But you know who it was. It was the dolphin energy, the energy of the whale, and the energy of the turtle, the sea turtle. As they placed themselves in a geometric pattern, a very simple one, a triangle, just like this, and as they linked themselves up, dolphin, whale, and turtle, they have been carrying the energy of consciousness for planet Earth. They had to. There was no other way. Humanity was dealing with its own, shall I say, shit? It's a word that you created, so I shall say it. Crap. Let's let the judgment go on those words. Humanity was dealing with its own business, with its own patterning. It had to come out as it was being born out of the earth. And now it is ready to take its place in this universal paradigm you call truth, you call love, you call joy, and you call freedom. And so these whales and these dolphins and these turtle energies needed to support you. Who is in the center of this triangle, you think? Who is that energy that is not exactly going to take over, but that is going to continue the path that these grand energies have walked before? It is humanity. But humanity couldn't do this with only 2 strands of DNA activated. If you look at the dolphin, and if you look at the turtle, and if you look at the whale, these are multidimensional animals. Animals even is a bad word in this case. Let's call them angels. Multidimensional beings of light, of love, of joy and of freedom. Completely active, existing every single second, not just on Earth, but throughout the entire cosmos. Everywhere. Awareness. Simple awareness. And people have tried to give it names. People have said, dolphins are holographic and they try to see things in a holographic way. Yes, but it's still limited. Dolphins, whales, turtles, even dogs and cats and horses are all in complete states of awareness. It is that space that humanity is going to go into. A very short time. Very short indeed. Once these 3 months are over, you get into the newest portal, the latest, and the final one too. It's called the 111 portal. And the climax of this energy is on the 4th one of the month of January, the 28th of January, 2008. This is when you will finally see things really starting to manifest in your lives. Others are laughing behind my back because they're telling me, haven't they seen manifestation enough? Haven't they seen examples enough of the things happening in their lives? No, they haven't. Not all the time, because there is still doubt, and there is still worry, and there is still mind taking place. There is still games being played with yourself most of the time. But the greatest manifestation of all, you will see take place on and after January 28th, 2008. We don't like to mark dates. We don't like the entire 2012 thing happening, saying that this is the exact date that things are happening. But these are the potentials that we are talking about right now. January 28th will be a final closing of an old door. And that time when not just your energy, not just your heart, but also your matter, that is your body, will be ready to step across the threshold. And it's not an ascension we're talking about. It's not the end of your body. It's an ascension. It's the coming in, the final coming in of all these energies that you are. It is the blending of all your lives, joined as one, coming into you. And that is why this group of family is finding themselves again. This is why you are looking into each other's eyes again. Because, of course, there haven't always been connections in this life. And sometimes for you it must have been strange. You're looking at each other and you're thinking, what the am I doing here with these people? What am I doing? I don't know these people. And all of a sudden I find myself in Hawaii with them. And I say goodbye to my old life. And I say goodbye even to some of my family and some of my friends and to my job. What am I going to do without money? But you couldn't not do it. That's the thing. That's the thing. And even in those moments when the doubt is the biggest, when you are doubting like you've never doubted before, then go back to the moment of choice when you said with all your heart, I have to do this. Yes, this is what I need to do. I am called, not by some great entity, not by some great deity. I am called by myself. I need to make this change. I need to make it happen. And so you did. So you did. And then you got to this space, this waiting room. And some have been in the waiting room for a very long time, doing great things indeed, doing great deeds, helping others to understand where they were and what would happen to them, how they could find out more about who they really were. The waiting period is almost over, and some of you are getting anxious. So anxious even that it sometimes pulls you back into the mind. And for some, like the both of you sitting there, it's easier because most days, but most days it's easier because you are experiencing the energies of Lemuria, of Hawaii, and of the great connection to Earth because you've been here for a while. And for others, who have just barely arrived here, not even completely unpacked, energetically speaking then. You're thinking, did I make the right choice? Is this where I needed to be? Can I truly do this? And doubt starts to come into the brain. Doubt that is not your own. Doubt that is just an energy that we are calling the energy of mind. Now, we have all told you, most of you, that there is not just one universe. There are so many different types of universe throughout the multiverse, throughout all that is, let's call it that. And as I have told one of you just the other day, everything in this universe that you are inhabiting responds to certain laws of energy. I won't call them laws of physics, because physics is very limited indeed, and it's very easy to change the laws of physics, but laws of energy. For instance, the fact that energy, and this is the most basic principle of energy, my beloved family, that energy tends to raise itself naturally, always going up, always, without end, without a beginning too. And this is true throughout this entire universe. And in other types of universe, other dimensions even, there are different types of laws of energy taking place. And if you were to go there, if you were to travel there, and if you were to open your eyes once you arrived, you'd think that you've gotten into a completely upside down world indeed. Things are quite different, but it's still natural within that universe. And in all these universes, in all these different galaxies, millions of them, billions of them, I can tell you one thing for sure. There is only one type of energy that doesn't respond to the basic principle of energy, being that it raises itself naturally, and that is the energy of mind. And it is prevalent throughout all these different universes. This is the basic message that not just whales and dolphins and turtles have been communicating to you for decades. It's also there in the child, in the eyes of every newborn on this planet. Do you see a mind there? Do you see thoughts there? Do you see thoughts when you're looking into the eyes of a dolphin? Do you think that the dolphin is thinking, "Oh, hello, human. How are you doing today?" No, it's responding directly. It's blending with you. It doesn't just embrace you. It melts with you. It is one with you, and you are one with it. And the same thing goes for small children. These are energies that tend to raise themselves naturally, always. And as such, small babies and these three great beings of light that I am talking about right now, they have indeed the ability to take disease away from anyone, to take depression away from anyone, to take everything that isn't pure. And they don't really take it away. It's not that the disease is taken out of you. It is just that the energy that is stuck in a pattern that is calling itself disease is allowed to raise itself again. And that is what is happening when you are in touch with a dolphin. And this, my great family, is what is going to happen with humanity as well. Especially those who have been on this path now for a very long time. You are gaining the ability to allow everything that you see to become unpatterned again, free again, so that the energy can raise itself again. And this is just the beginning. Once this has happened to all of humanity, you will see the next steps after that, and you will see the grand journey that humanity is about to take. So there you have it. This is basically the reason why all of you are coming together. And as I said before, you were looking into each other's eyes and not always recognizing each other, although there was a connection, of course. There's always a connection. There's always a memory, a remembrance. But what is going to happen in the next few months is that the actual lives that you used to interact with each other, it is those lives that are going to come to the surface. The energy of those lives going to come to the surface within you. So you are going to remember, more so than today, who you truly are. Because you won't limit yourselves to who you think you are right now. You won't limit yourselves anymore to personality. You will understand that you are all these lives that you have lived. And even though you think you are understanding this right now, you won't just understand it with the head and with the heart. You will understand it because you will experience it. All of you share connections, lives, some from a very, very long time ago, others more recent, if such a thing is real, if time would really be real. Of course it is just an illusion, but we are talking about a linear timeline now. And today is not a day to open up these connections, to let all of you know what the connections are. We are going to let you do this yourselves, because that's the true empowerment, you see. That you realize and you talk about these things and you understand what the connections truly are. And so the patterning in all of your lives has led you to this place. And then we need to talk about this place. And we need to talk about these grounds. For these grounds, how shall we say this in the most direct of ways? Shortly put, these grounds are the very first pieces of land that you ever set a human foot on. This space is the space where you came into the earth for the very first time. So it is only natural when a cycle, a complete cycle, is finally over, that you would return to the same land. With all the changes that you've gone through, with everything that has happened with you, and with everything that has happened to the land itself, you share the same history. You see, the same history. And we are not just talking about the patio you're sitting on right now. We're talking about a space that stretches out from that which you call today the place of refuge to the bay itself and all the way up into the mountain. It is that space that you first manifested your energy onto planet Earth. And that is why you are returning here, you see. It also means that this space is a very special space indeed. But you knew this, of course. You felt it, otherwise you wouldn't have been drawn here. It is special because here you have made the commitment to be a sovereign servant. A sovereign servant to the human cause, to the dolphin cause, to the whale cause, to the turtle cause, let's say to the cause of the divine. And so you went your merry ways, and you had these experiences. You actually decided at one point when Lemuria was going to end to spread your energy all over the planet, all over. And that you would start a journey, you see, A journey that would take you lifetime after lifetime after lifetime throughout the planet, finding all these little pieces of you, finding them in other people, finding them in situations, finding them in animals, finding them in trees, finding them in everything that you ingest, everything that you eat, finding them in the love that you see in the eyes of another, finding them too in the fighting that you did with one another at some point in your lives, finding them in everything. And as you have followed these pathways that led to you, always to you, now you have collected them all, and you have returned here at the end of that great adventure. Does this mean that there are no more pathways to follow and that you should just remain here all the time? No, it just means that a journey is over. You see, it's over, and a new one is beginning. And there were much more that originated from these spaces that we're talking about right now, much more. But there's a very small circle that decided to end that game by returning here, back to this space. And that is what we are calling the sovereign circle, you see. It's about service. Service to earth, to the divine, to all that is. And as such, service in the end to yourself, for you are all that is. And many of you here have taken on special assignments, if you can call this an assignment. You have been the keeper of the dolphin energy, the keeper of the whale energy, and the keeper of the turtle energy, and the keeper of the energy of the horse, because they needed some type of, let's call it protection, although not protection in the 3D sense. Protection in such a way that it is about bringing out, letting other people understand what is really going on. For you see, and this is probably not going to come as a shock to you, although it's a shock still to us, there are people on this planet who would just call a dolphin a fish, and who would hunt the whale down because of profit. And the same thing for the turtle, and the same thing for the dog, and the same thing for the cat, the same thing for the horse. And something inside of all of you has always said, this is wrong. If you look back to your youth, you probably all, at a certain point, had a moment where, for instance, a horse was being presented on a plate. And you knew deep from within that this was simply wrong. Because you see, if you can look at the eating of meat as the raising of the vibration of that animal, then you know that these animals that we are speaking of don't need any raising. There is never an excuse to do that. And as such, and we're not going to go into the details now because otherwise this just goes on too long before we can actually interact. I'm looking forward to that interaction. And as such, you all were and still are keepers of that type of energy. And some of you have been doing it, as we said, for these great beings of light, and others have been doing it for Gaia itself, for the earth itself. As you understood plant life like none other around you. And these are your true roots. These are your true foundations. And that is why you have incarnated in all the roles you have incarnated into. To make sure that this great knowledge, that this great truth could remain on planet Earth. And that is your great connection. And that is why you are returning to these lands. And that is why I am telling you, and that is the last thing I will tell you before we turn this into a conversation. That is why I am telling you that your work, all of you together, is still yet to begin. And it's the work that you will share with so many. Names such as Adamus, Saint Germain for instance. Names of all the other masters. You look upon them as masters without understanding that you have walked with them, not besides them, with them at certain points in your life. As you share a great connection with that energy known as the Kuan Yin, for instance, at one point in your lives, and so many others. You have all walked with these energies, worked with. And there is no real difference between you and them, only that you have decided to remain on the planet in physical form, so that you could work from this space and they could work from that space, in the understanding, in the knowledge that it's all about blending matter and energy. And with that, my dearly beloved family, I would like to find out if you have questions that you would like to ask. I will drink. Are there questions that you would like to ask?
Yes, I'd like to ask about what you see as the future for Dreamland, and the involvement of this group or the group that will come participate here.
Yes. Well, it's basically very simple. As this space in the very long past used to be the beginning of your great adventure, you have said the words yourself last time that you spoke to this messenger. At that point, it was a prototype. It now, again, will be a prototype for the new energy, for the next step, the next level, so to speak. And all the people that are sitting here, if they choose to continue to do so, will be a part of this land. And there are several others that still need to join this circle, that still need to join this group. Quite a lot, in fact. Quite a lot. But this is the core group. The core group that actually set out the appointments to return here at a certain point in time, so to speak. So, if you want to look at the future, let's call it potential, because the future is of course never fixed. This is a place of teaching. It is a place of nurturing. It is a place of growth. It is a place of coming back to one's own, to return to one's source, to understand the great truth that these beings of light that we have spoken about actually have held on planet Earth. And everybody sitting here, and so many others, will find a home here, so to speak, while of course understanding that a lot of traveling still has to be done. Because it's not about bringing everybody from Earth to this space, God forbid. It's about bringing this energy out. So let this be an anchor of light, an anchor of energy for all of you that are sharing in this dream, so that you can go out to other spaces on this earth and connect those spaces to this source energy, to this foundation of what the new earth is truly going to be about. And there are other spaces like this on planet Earth. There are. And other groups will find themselves connected to such spaces as well, and finding themselves doing the exact same things, basically. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. But as you know, there is never a truly going away. Never a true goodbye. But that is impossible. Even if the last time that you saw this space was another lifetime, you always end up back here. And that's what most of you have felt. Not necessarily as you were sitting here, but as you were looking up the bay, as you were looking at the place of refuge, as you were driving through the island. So, what is the vision? It is a place of new beginnings. It is a place of authentic energy, purity. And this purity can then be spread out. But you have said it yourself, so you had the vision in your head already. It is a prototype, and will always remain so. Only the energy itself is shifting of this space. As the earth is getting ready to be in a new paradigm, so this space then again holds the most pure form of that new paradigm. And you as the consciousness, the active consciousness of planet Earth, then can actually exist within this energy and take it out there. You see? But this space is not just inhabited, of course, by only humanity, no, not just you. It's also inhabited by the Honu, and is inhabited by the dolphin, and is inhabited by the whale. And much in the same way as you are returning here, so do they. You see? So do they. That's why they keep coming back here. Always. All the time.
Thank you.
Thank you for who you are. Much respect. Are there other questions? And there was silence.
Can you say something about believing yourself?
Believing in yourself? Well, my great friend, what can't I say about that? Believing in yourself is the very beginning of everything. And it is the very end of the cycle as well. As you believe in yourself, so you find within yourself the strength to manifest that which is the greatest of hope that lives in the human heart. If you don't believe in yourself, and this will become quite impossible in a certain point in time, if you don't believe in yourself, then you don't truly exist. Then you are lived by another energy, an energy that you could call the mind. You remember the 4 levels that we spoke about, that you have actually the level of experience, which you would call 3D, and then you have the level of the mind, and then you have the level of consciousness, and then you have the level of awareness. Well, believing in yourself is understanding that you are not just on one of these levels, you are all of them. And as such, believing is about understanding that you are indeed all that is around you, all that is within you, and that you can never really, truly make a wrong choice. Because if you truly believe, then even if you get lost somewhere on the path, you will always find your way home. Always. And even for those that don't believe, they will have moments in their life where you see the clear signs of the strength that you and every other person carries. Always. So this is a very broad concept indeed, and we could talk hours about this. Do you want to be a little bit more specific?
I forgot. I just forgot.
Well, maybe that is because the reason why you asked the question no longer exists within you. Maybe you have just crossed that threshold from disbelief and the final threads of disbelief into a center of yourself where you can only believe in what you're doing all the time. And that is power. So thank you for doing that. It doesn't just help you, it helps so many people around you. Anyone else who would like to ask a question?
I was thinking about the children.
Yes.
When for us those 3 months were coming, were very difficult.
Yes.
Is it also going to have an effect on the children who are already on the same energy side and we are?
Well, no, because the patterning for these children is much more recent. Basically, an adult person, which is also an illusion, of course, but an adult person has to go through a lot more of the timeline of that which you call the past, a lot more of the patterning. Children basically remain free of this type of patterning for a very long time, in the sense that they are much more flexible in changing their ways, in changing the way they look upon something. You see? So for the children, all they really will be feeling in the coming months is the sense of urgency, a type of anxious energy that is already showing up in so many of them. That is one of the reasons why so many are hyperactive, you see? And people call it then ADHD. But this is just because they are the indigos and the crystals and the rainbow children coming back with this sense of urgency that things are going to change, and that the real reason why they were on planet Earth, why they were born in the first place, is going to be manifested really soon. The patterning only shows up when you turn into an adult and you basically fall asleep, remembering nothing about why you came, what you are, and what you are doing here. And within the children, it still remains present, much closer to the surface. Even those who are, going to high school, even those. It was said by one of these special children just the other day. And if I may use your example, she was talking about these little albums that children have where they write things towards others. And one of the things that you said, and I would like to repeat this because it was very beautiful, if she looked at all the albums throughout years that she had written into, at the very early age, at the very first albums, once she was asked, what do you want to be? Where do you want to go with your life? Then she used to write, I am happiness, or I am happy. And then she used to grow older, and she said, I really want to be happy. And then she grew older, and then she said, I want to be happy. And then, I hope I'm going to be happy. And then I think, I hope, and and so you get into this patterning as you grow older and older and older, but still very, very recent patterning, so it's also very easy to break. And especially the young ones have no problems with this at all. All they feel is the excitement.
Well, but And I really mean that perhaps then it will be more difficult for the parents, so that there's more a conflict with the parents.
Oh no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. The parents will have conflicts with themselves. You see? Because it's in them that this patterning is going to show up most of the time. The children will finally say, you get what I am about, you get who I am, finally you see what I want to tell you for such a long time. So that's what's going to happen with the children. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, because it's not going to have a real effect on the children themselves. It's not going to be a conflict between them and the parents. It's going to be a release.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone else wants to ask a question?
Okay, lately in Japan, so many people started waking up, but different from here.
Yes.
What do you think about?
Well, there are several things to say about this. It is indeed a different form of waking up. But that is also because Japan and basically the entire region of Asia was getting ready to go into the same direction as the United States were going into. It was becoming the superpower of the world, and basically the leaders of the countries of Asia, almost all of them, basically, had a very corrupt agenda indeed, in the way things were being handled, in the way nature was being handled. So, if you look at the different regions of the planet, you have different types of people incarnating into these different regions. What you have in Japan, the people that are waking up, are quite different from the rest of the people of this earth. You see, if you look at Europe, Europe has a lot of indigo energies, indigo children waking up. If you look at the United States, within the United States you have a lot of crystal energies basically waking up. If you look at Africa, for instance, you have a lot of rainbow energies waking up. Now these names are not important. It just means different rays of energy that have focused themselves into different areas of the world. But then you have Asia. It's not just Japan, it's Asia. And if you look at Asia, there is a specific group of energies, conscious energies, that used to live on this world even before Lemuria, and that instead of deciding to incarnate over and over and over again, and thus having their energies influenced by the earth, chose to return completely to Source. And these we would call the children of the sun, because the central sun, because they melded again, they blended again with the central sun. And these energies have also decided to come back to the earth because the great shift that was taking place. So in a way, you could say that this waking up process that is happening there is with a lot of people that completely have no karma on this planet, that came back at a certain time to keep the purity of earth. And it would be interesting that these are people incarnating in an area where governments are often even very, I'm going to call it vicious, in the way they are treating nature, in the way they are treating humanity as well. And that is why these purest of people, these purest of energies, which is not hierarchical indeed, it's just about the amount of time they have spent on this earth and the amount of interactions they have had on this earth, That is why these energies are incarnating now in that space, because it is most needed. And yes, you will see a difference. You will see a difference, but it is about connecting. It's about connecting all of these different types of energies, because no one can really do it alone. It's about blending all of these energies. In what way do you see the difference, for instance?
Just in Japan, it's really one nation, not mixed with other countries. So it seems like are really connecting each other consciously. So if one person said this is great, and then everybody buy this, so that easy to believe and can make a trend easily.
Yeah.
So now it's a trend to try to be spiritual.
Yes, but this is basically happening because there is a core group of very pure energies that came back.
Yeah, I can see that Japanese are very pure and
yes.
beautiful inside.
And that is what is happening.
Many people, young people, try to see aura.
Yes.
It's influenced by TV.
But you will also notice that it will be much easier for them to see these auric fields than for most people all over the planet. It will be much easier, indeed, because most people are having a really hard time seeing all of these things. But it's not really about the seeing, it's about the sensation, it's about the feeling of energy. That is what it's really about.
So that now that people are really started to have interest in quantum physics or spirituality. So I left Japan 7 years ago.
Yes.
But in these 5 years, they shift a lot. I feel like I cannot catch up those changes. And then I imagine next 5 years what's going to happen in the country. I just cannot imagine.
Well, let me give you a little glimpse of what is possibly going to happen. I must laugh from the heart because you say you have difficulties catching up. Let me tell you this. You are one of the people that's going to be teaching. So it's not about them catching up or you catching up. It's about you finding that space within yourself, even more so than today, where you are this teacher. And you have stepped out of the culture for a while so that you could reconnect with yourself and make a connection to the rest of the world. And it's not exactly that you're going to go back completely, but you will find that you are going to go back because you carry within you, my dear sister, great teachings that need to come out. And different lifetimes, things happen to you where you weren't allowed to bring these teachings out completely. In this lifetime, nothing is going to intervene. So this time, it is time to be who you are completely. And you are going to be one of these people. And this is not a prediction about the future. This is basically a statement because it's already solid, fixed, because you chose those potentials to become a reality already. You are going to be one of those people who is going to bring in great wisdom and is going to open up the culture. But the culture remained closed because it needed to keep a sense of purity. And as now the rest of the planet is getting into this sense of purity, the culture will be opening up. And that is basically where you come in. That is what you are going to be doing.
Awesome. That's exactly what I was talking with her today.
I know. I was listening in. But we will talk about this personally in a short while, basically. whenever you have a moment. I always have a moment. So we should do this. There's a lot of things that I can share with you, because it is basically on the request of your own higher self to do so, to share these things with you. And if I'm not doing it for you, they're going to come in anyway. They're going to come in anyway, but it's easier if you have someone to sit across and to talk to you about these things. So I would like to do that for you, obviously. There are things, it's about also a blending again of everything that is Asian. And that is, of course, something that has proven difficult in the past. This is also something that you're going to bring in. You see? It's happening within you, and it's going to happen within the rest. But we'll talk about that in a little while.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Well then, let's call it a day. I have one more request, however. I hope, and all the others as well, that you take what you have heard here today, tonight, and that you bring it into 3D. That you bring it into this reality. And the only way you can do that is by opening up completely. Connecting to who you truly are completely. And in doing that, you will find the support system that is always there. It is primarily based on yourselves, all of you. And then it is based on these master energies that you have walked with, and that have walked with you. And then this support system is based on Gaia itself. And then it is based on all that is. Based on universal love, universal joy, and universal freedom. Every single moment. One last thing that I would like to say before I take my leave of you, or at least so it appears. One last thing. Understand this. If the past month has been a month of great changing, a month of running into yourself, a lot of the time, I can tell you that once this month of October is finished and 1/3 of the way has been walked in the course of the coming and this 3 months, you will start to feel things getting lighter, easier. If you let go of patterning, the first month, the first period is always the most difficult. But you will get used to this. You will get the hang of it, so to speak. And so you will see that come November, the first few days of November, you will find things get a little bit easier. It's going to be a calmer ride, and you're not going to find yourself being attacked by the mind so often. There's going to be less doubt. There's going to be less questions. Less fighting with yourself, because you're always fighting with yourself, even if you are fighting with other people. You're always fighting with you. Always a reflection of you, at least. So that is one thing that I wanted to say. And I say these things because you carry my greatest sympathy. You have my greatest love and my greatest respect. Again, I remind you of the fact that you need not ever be in awe of us. It is us who have things easy. It is us who are looking to you and seeing that you are the ones that make the choice to be on the planet, to be in form, to be in a body, to be in confusion sometimes, day after day after day. So, from our vantage point, my beloved family, you are indeed the master. It's not the other way around. It's those who make these choices to be on the front lines, so to speak, of a great change that is taking place, who dare to go into a body, into a life, that are indeed the great ones. All of you have lived important lives, energetically speaking, in the past, and this is not something that you need to take with your ego. Take it with your heart, because these are the lives that now are coming back into you. And understand that when this happens, there is nothing that is ever going to stop you. Nothing. So take the challenge. Walk with your heads up. Walk with your heart in front of you, so that everybody that sees you walking will connect to your very core before you even open your mouth. Walk the path that you have always been destined to walk. You will find that if you choose other paths, you're gonna navigate your way back into this anyway, because it is your free choice to do so. It is the reason why you are on the planet. And if ever Gaia needed you, then these are the days. Never forget it. These are the days. And so I take my leave of you. I send you my blessings. I send you my love. I send you my respect. I sense in you great seedlings of joy. Use the coming hours and the coming night to let these seedlings turn into the great forests that they can become, and then walk the branches, walk underneath the branches, and find within yourself the seedlings of those trees. Find God within yourself, divinity, always. And so it is.